JJ, Deebo and Taybor Pepper got into quite the little tizzy on the sideline for the night. Taybor Pepper got into quite a little tizzy on the sideline this weekend. Jake Moody missed a few kicks, and Deebo said, "I'm going to choke you, bitch," and kind of hit Moody on the way out as well. What'd you think about this? And I believe Shanahan came out too and said, like, hey, if Deebo is going to hold him accountable, Jake Moody he's talking about, then you got to let him do that, especially as a captain that Deebo is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have not seen the throat grab of your own teammate in a while, possibly trying to remember the last time I've seen it in general. I got nothing off the top of my head, but wildly entertaining. I specifically remember when it happened. We were in the studio and I was like, hang on a second. Was that his own teammate that he just grabbed his throat? So it was, I don't mind holding your own guys accountable. I do think that kickers have an insanely tough job, and it is extremely clear if they accomplished or did not accomplish their job. So I don't think they necessarily need too many other people to be like, hey, man, do your job. Like, theirs is clear. Like, if I don't do my job on a play, you might know it, you might not, until you go back and watch the film later. Kicker is nuts and bolts. Like, you either put it through the uprights or you didn't, and nobody knows more than that guy that he just missed it. So I don't know what necessarily you're going to say in that moment. You could tell me better, Pat. What could somebody say to you to be like, oh, you're right, I should be putting it through the pipes?
So I've been in this type of situation before, and not where I got my throat grabbed, obviously, but I was cropping a day, I was hitting shanks, and it was close game. So I think Peyton actually came up to me and was like, hey, we need one, bub. Like that was like, and I'm the punter, Peyton's quarterback. So like, if I had any smart ass in me or whatever, I'd just go, we'll get a first down. Like, but I obviously did not say that. It's Peyton Manning. But Peyton and I had a relationship. You know, like Peyton and I were like boys. Yeah. So like when Peyton would come over and say it, it's like, yeah. Robert Mathis has come up to me before when something happens. He says something to me. And as a punter, I have felt okay going up to guys on the sideline and being like, hey, all good, need one, let's move. Like, I think it all is kind of a tell of your relationship with. But
does that to you, like if Peyton comes up to you and says like, hey, Pat, we need one here, are you like, oh, okay, I'm going to punt this completely differently? Shoot, Peyton just told me something.
No.
Or are you like, well, no shit, I'm trying, bud?
No, I don't take it that way. I think like if you have a relationship with somebody, like I think this is like a more telling of the relationship within the locker room. Because I forget somebody texted me, old teammate of mine, and said like something, I forget who it was. Might have been Denzel. I forget who it was. Somebody said, couldn't imagine somebody grabbing you or Vinatieri by the neck on the sideline. It was like, well, that would never happen because our relationship with the locker room. You know, like there would never be a situation where if Deebo came over to Moody, Deebo on the team.
Yeah.
Okay, Deebo very high on the back. Deebo comes over and says like to Vinny, lock in. Like Vinny's not going to get offended by that. Like Vinny's going to be like, yeah, I like just kind of take it for what it is. And then long snapper is not going to say, you know what, Deebo Samuel, don't you do that. Like that's not going to happen. I think it's more so of like, you know what I mean? Like I think
that's why like it was a yell back, not like, I mean, most of the people, if somebody grabs your throat, that's not going to end without more physical altercation. But I think knowing that your position on the squad and Deebo's position on the squad, that's why it didn't get past. He kind of had to fake hold me back from like the
reality.
Let me get him. Yeah, like hang on, Deebo. If they're cutting somebody here, I can promise you, it's not the guy that scores all touchdowns.
Yeah, and you know he had a rough week, Pepper.
Yes, he did.
He had a very rough week with everything that happened, and we obviously understand that. But like, you know, I think that was more telling of the relationship more so than anything, and also the reality of the totem pole of this entire situation.
I mean, Shanahan's saying that too after. Like, hey, if Deebo is going to tell him lock in, like, I think Pepper's overreacting a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, it's there's a lot of use. There's a lot of use.
Not a lot of that guy.
They them.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it when the guy that got his throat grabbed the coach is like, hey, no, you overreacted.
Yeah. Well, and Moody,
you were in the wrong.
Crazy.
I just assume Moody gets. I've met Moody. Moody seems like a really cool dude, chill dude, and he knows he's obviously not playing great. But like somebody coming over to him that he has respect for and his friends was saying like lock in. I don't think that like ruins his. You know what I mean? It's like
It's a young guy, right, Moody?
yeah. Third year, second year, third year. But it's like
What works better for a specialist? Is it the guy coming over and saying like, hey, we need one here, or is it the hand around his shoulder like, hey man, it's okay, you got this, like we're okay? I'm very curious because it's such a specialized position.
Yeah, and for me, I never was good enough to kick in the NFL. So, like, you know, making the field goal, I don't know if I'm necessarily the right guy to be like, you know, the mental side of this entire thing because that was actually not my MO in it all. But I know, like, Vinny, anytime he had a bad day, like, nobody was talking to him, but he's Adam Vinatieri, you know? But if somebody did come over to Vinny, it would always be like a nice reminder that he's the GOAT, you know? So, like, a young guy missing 3, I think he missed 3 kicks in one game that, like, could, and having an older guy come over and be like, hey, we need one. I didn't find it as disrespectful as Pepper would, but also it's like, I don't think it would ever happen just because of the relationship in a locker.
It's like telling a receiver to catch the ball, though. It's like a bad coach yelling, catch the ball. Like, okay, cool. I was trying to drop this thing, bud. Like, yeah, what is the best way to go about it?
Yeah, or what if a guy has like 5 drops? Somebody on the team is going to say, hey, can't happen. Like, you would assume some teammate is going to say that. So,
like, what did they say to Goff? Like 5 picks. Like, what did somebody come up to Goff and be like, hey, we are wearing white. Hey. That was one that Coach Kolar used to use all the time, and he always told me about it with Peyton. Like, he's a D-line coach that I had, and he went to Denver. And he was the only one never scared to say anything to Peyton. So Peyton would be coming out to be like, hey, Peyton. Orange jersey, buddy. Orange jersey.
You can see how that pissed somebody off. There's what movie is it where they go just a bit outside or something like that?
Major League.
Bob Uecker.
Okay, so miss a field goal. We had a coach at West Virginia where he would scream that across if I missed one in practice or whatever, and I have never just hated a human. Yeah, no shit. Okay, we all saw it, but then like after like a couple weeks of it, it's like he's letting me know he's paying attention. Obviously, he's paying attention to what's going on, and that I'm better than. It's like how you have to like think about it and frame it. But I think within a team, there's always going to be some shit talking. Like I think there's always going to be that.
MCDC actually went up to Goff and said, like, hey, you're 6-0 in games you throw 4+ picks.
Siv told me.
Don't worry.
Siv told me. What are you going to say?
I remember that. We all remember that famous clip with Saturday and Peyton on the sideline. Like, Peyton talking to him and Saturday, hey, let me, like, I know what I'm doing. I'm doing my job. You do this. And then Peyton's like, hey, you do it. If I call this, we do this. So, though, conflict, once again, is good. And if you respect the teammate, if you know that player, especially on game days, is putting in that work throughout the week, especially if it's a vet or, center quarterback, like whatever, you're going to respect that. You know, like AJ said, you're not trying to drop a ball. You're not trying to miss a block. You're not trying to miss a kick. So I think it was a little bit of overreaction by old Taybor.
I'm not saying there's like hundreds of long snappers out there that could do an NFL snapper's job. Not easy. Laces, can't miss, you're gone. But there is a much larger group of people that could do that guy's job than there is that could do Deebo's anything. So that is the reality of the situation as well. And in the moment, you got to realize that their tempers flared. They'll keep it moving, though.